talk as a Marine to the impact that DeSantis is going to have when he hits the national stage? Because people really do not understand the fact that he served in combat, the fact that he was JAG, the fact that he was involved with Guantanamo Bay, that there is a huge portion of the population that has been wanting a commander-in-chief like this for a long time. Right. And they're going to very likely get it with him. Can you talk about how underrated an aspect his military background actually is?
Hey, you saying that? I mean, I think he's the kind of guy who's going to take the title Generalissimo, right, and make himself a uniform with all kinds of gold braids and trinkets hanging off of it. I think he's going to really embrace that. I think he's really going to embrace that militarism. I think there is a grotesque side to him, of course, but that ties into a lot with the aspects of the evilness that resides within the military, that resides within. Look, war is nothing more than organized murder. Those who revel in it have a type of sociopathy or psychopathy, whichever one it is, that has to be understood. And I think DeSantis fits that. I think, of course, we have a culture that we had this aberration. And I think there are ways we can get back to it. And I would like to see our political system get back to it. Let's not forget that 2006, the Democrats take the House for the first time in 40 years because of the Iraq War. 2008, we get our first black president because he's an anti-war candidate. He beats Hillary Clinton, then he beats the war hero, John McCain. I mean, so there are it's the war. As long as the war is touching people, it can have political consequences and carry weight. But once they made these wars invisible, particularly in the second half of the Obama administration, you started losing that. And then, of course, what you have then is the ability for people like DeSantis to demagogue off of it, to wave the bloody shirt, to utilize photos of him in uniform to shout down any opposition to militarism. You don't have a right to say this. You never served. You hear this stuff all the time, tying into the cultural phenomenon of militarism in the United States. I didn't realize this, but there's been this Navy SEAL show on CBS for like 6 or 7 years now. It's a huge hit. You know, when I got on my Apple TV the other day, the banner up the top that was advertising it was, that nice young guy from The Office. You know, he's Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. Right. I mean, which is
John
a show.
Krasinski?
Yeah. Right. I mean, that's a show that is written one of the, at Langley. I mean, that is a show that is a CIA production through and through. Yeah. And I mean, so he fits right into that, and he's going to segue right into that. He's going to click into it like a puzzle piece. And I think this is the point I have not heard many others bring up, but I think you're absolutely right. And I think it gives him some degree above Trump where you can't go after him for not serving like you could with Donald Trump, call him Captain Bone Spurs or whatever they used to call him or whatnot, right? I mean, so yeah. So I think there's a real danger with DeSantis here with his ability to use his photos in uniform, his, utilize that to kind of promulgate his superiority. And Buttigieg did that as well. Buttigieg in 2020 in the debates at times said things along the lines of, as the only person here who's been in combat.
Yeah.
So trying to maneuver that into a place of authority.
Yeah.
Sniveling little
Well,
shit.
I can't stand people that play cards. That's playing a card. Okay. Everyone knows your resume. Everyone knows your history. It's like Debbie with the breast cancer survivor thing. People like to play cards to appeal to whatever the audience is that they're in front of. And it makes it very not genuine to me. And to me, the people that I meet like you, who are people that have served and yet are anti-war, that's what makes the most sense. The people that are the most pro-war are people that I don't think have ever really done that.
That's the big difference between DeSantis and somebody like Buttigieg. Buttigieg will say, well, what DeSantis will say is that, well, the time that I was deployed in Iraq and this is what I was doing. He won't even say I served. He would just say, well, the time that I was deployed in Iraq and I was doing X, Y, and Z. He'll make it really personal. He just knows how to do this.
I just don't like bragging about it to a point where it's obvious. He does it, Pete, but like that was gratuitous.
It was. It's braggadocious and it's not good. And and again, that's why I think Trump, who I think he's really from an objective perspective, his attacks on DeSantis are not going to work the way that they work on other people. In fact, he looks kind of desperate the way that he's been going after him. And DeSantis has actually been. He
won't get a rise out of him at all.
He just count. There's a difference between ignoring him like Jeb Bush tried to ignore him. And then there's ignoring him and actually having your actions speak louder than words like DeSantis will do. When
Right.
people are attacking DeSantis, or Trump is attacking DeSantis, you see a lot of people going after Trump and saying, that's not cool. I don't like that. With anybody else, they're totally fine
Laughing
with
at it.
And all
Yeah.
the while, we're sitting here on the other side, recognizing that DeSantis' ascent to the presidency has been years in the making, not because he's this manufactured media creation, but because he's been a very savvy politician,
Very.
coupled with the other side of the aisle that pretends like they're really representing working people and they're not. And this country is getting so desperate for some type of leadership, somebody that will speak truth to power right now. That is desperately needed.
This is how fascism happens. It's created by neoliberalism.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.